Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever glanced at a flight path and wondered why planes seem to take the scenic route instead of just flying straight across the Pacific Ocean? You're not alone. From mysterious tales to logistical reasons, the truth behind these winding paths is far more fascinating than you might think. Buckle up, because today we're diving into the skies to uncover why airplanes avoid flying straight over the vast Pacific Ocean. At first you might think it's a safety issue. The Pacific is the largest and deepest of the world's oceans. If a plane encounters a problem over this seemingly endless and bottomless pond of water, the pilots are going to have a rough time finding a safe spot to land. The destination might not be overpopulated with international airports, but it's a lot better than the middle of the ocean. How's that for a tourism slogan? Guessing that it was a safety precaution wouldn't be entirely wrong. When planning a route, many pilots prefer to maximize the number of airports along their path. Emergencies are incredibly rare, but let's face it, I can't think of many things more stressful than losing an engine 30,000 feet over the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But safety isn't the main reason airlines avoid making a straight shot across the Pacific. It ultimately comes down to saving fuel and time. It's easy to forget that an airline is a business whose profits depend on how quickly and cheaply it can move passengers between destinations. People also prefer to get to their next stop as quickly as possible, so it's a win-win for both airlines and passengers. Long story short, speed is usually the primary factor in determining a plane's flight path, excluding special circumstances like jet streams or other meteorological concerns. The fastest route is almost always the one closest to a straight line. But wait, just look at that flight path. It's anything but a straight line. Well, yeah, when you look at it on a flat map, but our planet isn't flat now, is it? It can be confusing since we're used to looking at our world on a two-dimensional plane. Unless you bust out a globe each time you need to check where some city or country is located, you probably look at a world map. So, on a 2D map, making a giant rainbow to avoid the Pacific Ocean looks like a much longer route. But since the Earth is a sphere, well, more or less, a straight line is going to look very different in three-dimensional space. Our planet is slightly bigger around the middle. When looking at pictures taken from outer space, the difference isn't enough to notice. The planet is so big that it's easy to lose track of a few hundred miles here and there. But check this out. If you could take a giant string and measure the Earth's circumference through the poles, you'd need 24,860 miles of string. But if you do the same thing at the equator, it'd jump up to 24,900 miles. Why is that, you ask? It's because our planet rotates on its axis. Either spin yourself really fast on the playground merry-go-round when you were a kid. Remember feeling like the thing was going to throw you out to the sides? Something similar happens to the Earth's midsection as it spins. The force causes it to bulge out. Yes, it's spinning fast enough to do that. Anybody tuning in from the equator right now, you're currently moving about 1,000 miles per hour. That 40-mile difference in the Earth's width might not seem like much, but when it comes to the surface area of an entire planet, that little bit of added girth can go a long way. The combination of these two factors, the curvature of the Earth and its extra equatorial width, means that curving toward the poles is a shorter distance than flying what seems like a straight line across on a map. None of this is to say that planes never cross the Pacific Ocean. People have to get to Australia somehow. Anyway, planes will also venture over open water to avoid storms. While aircraft can outclimb some types of severe weather like hurricanes and tropical storms, seemingly mundane thunderstorms are surprisingly challenging. With clouds reaching altitudes of over 60,000 feet, airplanes are advised to steer around instead of into or over them. It's almost unheard of for modern aircraft to be brought down by severe weather, but bad enough turbulence can cause injuries to passengers and crew as they, and all the stuff they've packed with them, get tossed around the cabin. So the takeaway here is, keep your seatbelts fastened at all times. Another reason planes sometimes brave an oceanic voyage is to take advantage of the smoother ride. Even in clear weather, there's much less turbulence over water than over land. The other primary consideration for determining flight paths are air currents, namely the jet streams. These high-altitude air currents exist near the top of the troposphere, the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Another reason planes sometimes brave an oceanic voyage is to take advantage of the smoother ride. Even in clear weather, there's much less turbulence over water than over land. The other primary consideration for determining flight paths are air currents, namely the jet streams. These high-altitude air currents exist near the top of the troposphere, the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Of course, we can't talk about the Pacific without mentioning the myths and legends that surround it. From the Bermuda Triangle to tales of lost flights and ghost ships, the Pacific has been the subject of countless stories. While these myths aren't the reason airlines avoid the Pacific, they've certainly added to its mystique. But the truth is, it all comes down to practicality. Sure, the ocean holds many secrets, but when it comes to flight paths, the reasons are far more grounded in reality, literally. Understanding why planes take the routes they do often comes down to facts we don't usually think about in everyday life. The jet stream mostly affects things tens of thousands of feet in the air, and the curvature of the Earth doesn't really matter unless you're traveling hundreds of miles per hour over vast distances. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content. See you in the next video!